You have no decency. You have no honor. You say inflammatory things because it thinks it will ingratiate you to those who are paying your salary.
Well, tonight we have more from Thursday's Senate confirmation hearing, which became a racial flashpoint following a heated exchange between Senator Cory Booker and Trump nominee Jeremy Carl. During the tense interaction, Booker accused the nominee of reducing him to the color of his skin, sparking one of the most explosive moments of the hearing. The confrontation quickly escalated into a broader debate about race, identity, and the future direction of U.S. policy.
Mr. Carl, I never thought I would have somebody that made a lot of the statements that you've made before the United States Senate, and I would love to discuss some of your comments. You're going to be working with international organizations. Do you think one race is superior than another race on the planet Earth?
Senator, absolutely not.
You don't. So do you think that America would be weaker if it was, say, 40% Jewish?
Senator, absolutely not in and of itself. I think the problem...
Well, why did you qualify that?
No. Well, Senator, if you let me finish, I do not. I believe that unity, as President Trump has said, rather than diversity, is a greater strength.
But why not simply say it doesn't matter what percentage of our population is Jewish?
Senator, it certainly doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Senator, if I could finish, as somebody of Jewish origin myself, and I do want to take this moment to say, because there have been some comments made, one of my weaknesses, and we've discussed some that you may think in general are weaknesses, is sometimes I take an idea too far. And I made some comments in interviews about minimizing the effect of the Holocaust that were absolutely wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and defend them here. I just want to be very, very clear on that point. Again, had I been in Germany in that time, even though I'm a sixth-generation American, but had I not, I would have been killed just like anybody else.
I've heard you say that you regret some of your comments about Jews.
Absolutely.
Do you regret any other comments about any other races?
Senator, you would have to reference a certain comment, but I'm certainly not a perfect person, and I'm sure that I've made...
Do you regret any of your comments about Latino Americans?
Senator, I'm sure that if you read me every single comment I'd made about a group, there would be some that, upon consideration...
So you stipulate for this body that you have in your past made comments about Jews and Latinos and perhaps blacks that you perhaps regret?
Senator, thank you for the question. As a Calvinist who believes that we're all infinitely sinful and only redeemed through grace...
See, sir, we're sending you into a very diverse world.
Yeah.
And you can't say unequivocally that America, it doesn't matter what our racial makeup is. You believe it matters what the racial makeup of America is.
Senator...
Do you believe it matters, yes or no, what the racial makeup of America is?
Senator, to echo President Trump, I believe
I don't want
unity
you to
rather
echo
than diversity...
President Trump. I want you to answer my question, yes or no. Does it matter what the racial makeup of America is?
Senator, I'll stand on my comment. Thank you.
What's your comment? Answer the question, yes or no.
Echoing President Trump, I believe unity rather than diversity is a strength.
So you have a problem if America grew to be more Latinos than white people?
Senator, the individual group is not important. This is a cross-societal...
What do you mean when you say that you believe in the Great Replacement theory?
Senator, thank you for that question. This refers to the intentional demographic replacement of Europeans in Europe. It was invented by Renaud Camus, who was a French scholar.
You think there's an active effort to, quote-unquote, replace Americans right now?
Senator, I think the Democratic Party, through its immigration policies, has certainly shown signs of that.
And I don't understand that. So you are saying that if more Americans are black or Latino Americans, that somehow weakens America because it puts whites in a minority?
Senator, I never said anything like that, nor do I actually believe that. I want to be very clear that regardless of country, if people generally share more in common,
can I read you what you've said? Because it sounds like this. You said the Great Replacement is real, and they are going to try to make you pay for it. Who is they?
Senator, thank you for that question. I simply don't know from you reading that one isolated comment.
So this is the problem. You make the most incendiary comments that you admit that you regret about Jews, about Latinos, about blacks. And you sit here and say that you do not have a worldview, that somehow our country is weakened based upon the populations of each. In fact, you say in your writings that it is a threat to the United States of America and create an us versus them. And the only interpretation I can have of us versus them is it's white people against others, which sounds deeply racist to me. That somehow you think our country's greatness depends upon its ethnic diversity, as long as white people have more numbers than others. That does not sound like a nation that was founded with the belief that all people are created equal and equal before the eyes of God. It sounds like you have a racial hierarchy. There's no way for me to read this in any other way.
Senator,
you have said our country, based upon religious diversity, based upon ethnic diversity, based upon racial diversity, you have indicated that somehow those make America weaker or stronger. That God forbid our nation grows in population, that then you suddenly say, I'm aggrieved, and they are trying to replace us. This is the United States of America. We are one nation under God, but you cut us up and divide us along racial lines.
Senator, respectfully, I do not think that they do.
You cannot use the word respectfully, because you do not respect me.
Oh,
you
no,
look
actually,
upon
I do.
me as my color of my skin. You say holidays like Juneteenth are racial hustles. Don't come here and hustle me.
Senator,
you have said statements that other nations are going to look upon you and read plainly. When you go to a country of a different religion or ethnicity, you have discriminated against Jews in your writing, you have discriminated against others, and then you claim yourself as a victim. Mr. Chairman, I've never seen such a blatantly racist individual who doesn't even deny that he's made these statements, but wants to tell us that he regrets them, and yet still believes that this body, who is committed to principles of equality, who is committed to ideals of our founders, that you're not in direct violation to the ideals and values and principles. And the last thing I want to say, I watched people beat others when they attacked the Capitol, viciously attack police officers. Brian Sicknick, a New Jersey resident, was beaten near death and would die days later. And you say those violent felons, you literally have said that they were treated worse than people during Jim Crow. When thousands of Americans were lynched, murdered, beaten, and killed, you equate Capitol Hill rioters with receiving worse treatment than Americans during Jim Crow, which even some of the worst people who participated in that violence and beatings have come forward decades later and said, I was wrong. It is shameful that when this body ran for its life, when they had gallows for the vice president put outside, when they tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power, that you would equate those people to the folks that were victimized and terrorized by white nationalist organizations like the KKK. Sir, you have no decency. You have no honor. You say inflammatory things because it thinks it will ingratiate you to those who are paying your salary. And you sit here before me and try to wrap yourself in the American flag? Well, I believe in this nation. I believe in the principles. I believe in those who fought and died for our country. You disgrace that legacy and the ideals that we all swear an oath to uphold, that does not believe in one nation for one people and another people. Dear God, I pray for us if we let somebody like you represent us to the diverse nations of the world as representing the values of our country.
Senator, I absolutely deplore Jim Crow, but I do not agree with the characterization that you have done of my views.
Michael, let's begin with you. What did this hearing expose?
It didn't expose anything that I didn't tell you in 2023 or 2024 about Donald Trump. These are white nationalists, white supremacists. This is his nominee. This is Project 2025. This is the fear of the browning of America. I'm glad Senator Cory Booker just wore Jeremy Carl's ass out. But no, this is not new. This is the fear of the browning of America. This is promoting the white replacement theory, promoting white erasure. And I posted on my Facebook fan page early in the week, I said, this is a horrible week for MAGA. First, you had Bad Bunny performing at Super Bowl 60 and got 128 million viewers of his halftime performance, and it was all in Spanish. And that pissed off MAGA. They're still complaining about that. And then we got the news that minority births have outpaced white births for the first time in history. And they said that only 49.6% of the births in America were white births, and 50.4% of the births of America were made up of Latinos, Hispanics, Black, and Asians. Okay? This is what Jeremy Carl and Donald Trump and people like him fear. They fear that by the year 2043, they're no longer going to be the majority population. This is what Project 2025 is about. This is why Elon Musk is obsessed with birth rates and why they want and why they want white women to stay in the kitchen, stay at home, have more children. And if you take this back to 2017, Matt reads The Atlantic every day. He reads The Atlantic all the time. The Atlantic magazine had an article that talked about how the 2016 presidential election, it said that white non-college educated voters who voted for Trump, it said their driving factor was not the economy. They said it was cultural anxiety. They said it was their fear that they were going to be overran by Latinos and African Americans, non-white people, and what would happen to them. Okay. Then the 2020 census came out in April 2021, and it showed that the population of white people dropped below 60% for the first time since 1790 when the first census was taken. It dropped to 57%. Okay. So this is what I've been talking about. This is what Roland's book, White Fear, is about. So I'm glad this is being exposed. This doesn't teach me anything or tell me anything that I didn't already know. I'm just glad Black Star Network is showing it.
Well, Matt, what does it say about America that someone with a documented history of racist and sexist rhetoric can still be considered for a top State Department position?
You know, Brittany, that's such an astute question, and you kind of took all of the wind out of my sails, because that's exactly what I was about to say. I was going to say that shows you how far gone we are, that they can promote a virulent racist who has the audacity to continue tweeting and, furthering statements while he awaits the confirmation. And they can promote this to be the person that is one of our front faces to the world, a world in which there's currently crazy anxiety, even across the pond, with white people in Europe who don't know what the orange man is doing in trying to co-opt Greenland, right? So, I mean, the idea that this administration would put forward someone who is so far beyond the pale shows you how far beyond the pale we are as a country. And what I think is particularly insidious about people like this is, you notice they say all of these horribly racist, virulent, unequivocally terrible things, but then they get in front of the Senate and they try to act genteel and they try to say, oh, it's respect. And, maybe you're taking it out of context and I didn't quite mean it that way. I need to walk some of these things. But no, when you're tweeting and you're saying all these hateful things about people, that is the truth of who you are. And the idea that the administration would think he's the right person to put up is extraordinary. And if you notice, some of the strongest pushback is actually coming from a Republican senator from Utah, John Curtis, who's saying this is not the right person for us to put forward because of his anti-Israel and anti-Jewish statements. So it's crazy to me that this would be a person that they would ever let get through their vetting process to even put in front of the Senate. But I think that's proof positive of just the craziness that we're in this society, and also the brazenness of this Trump administration. I think Michael's right. And to his credit, he's been saying this the last several years, but they're trying to find, in my opinion, as far out as they can go and change, I think, what's called the Overton window to see what people will accept. And this would be beyond the pale last decade. I mean, even 10 years ago, the idea that a presidential administration would promote someone like this would be unfathomable. And this is common fare now. So I'm glad he got the pushback that he did.
Candace, what does this say about the stakes of the 2026 and 2028 elections?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it tells us that plain and simple, like Matt and like Mike have said, that we always knew this was out there. It's the hats are off, the masks are off. There's a bigot in the house. And what? This is nothing new. This is a tune that we've been dancing to for a long time, or they've been dancing to. I think what's so remarkable is just to actually see him there, having, been thumb thugging and so keyboard confident in everything that he says. And then he's sitting there and being berated as he should have been and taken down by Senator Booker. And all of a sudden, I'm going to piggyback off of Matt, acted like he didn't know what was going on. He had tears in his eyes. He was going to spontaneously combust from the whooping that he got from Senator Booker, as well he should. And that on another level is someone that we don't need either. Someone who cannot even, stand up for what they even believe in. What he's doing is he was step and fetching to the highest payer, to the highest panhandler. And this is where he is, looking embarrassed, someone of Jewish descent, though he converted to Christianity, and said that the Holocaust survivors should just get over the Holocaust. This is not a man that has anything worth even dignifying. I mean, I'm glad we're talking about it, but we have seen his type coming and we've seen his type going. And he's probably going to be one of the ones that goes.
Visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for this new 10-week online course. So we're going to teach this on Sundays, normally 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're running late today. So as soon as I finish this broadcast, I was going to start the class about 5:30 p.m. today. Because it's a holiday weekend, I'm going to do a quick introduction to the class so you could join us for that. Class is on sale, $80. You get 5 of my lectures free in digital download format, okay, when you register for this as well. Click right here, register here. You can do debit card, credit card, what have you. If you want to do it through Cash App, send it through our Cash App is here, $ the AHN show through Cash App. You click on the link. It takes you here. And if you send it through Cash App, follow it up with an email. You can email me through the website right here. Contact the African History Network at the top. If you send it through Cash App, follow up with an email. Let me know you sent the registration through Cash App. And this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael. These are some fake African History Network Cash App accounts that have been stealing money from us. I'm still trying to get them shut down. Here's our PayPal link right here. Also, okay. So this is African empires, the Moors, and the transatlantic slave trade, 5000 BC to 1800 AD. Okay, so this is a new 10-week online course that I'm teaching. I've been teaching online history classes going back to 2017, and I put these classes together, put together the curriculum. There are about 200 slides in this class, 80 to 100 articles that we reference, 15 books. You don't have to buy any of the books. I'll show you screenshots of the book as well. The content is PG-13. You can use this with your children, okay? And it's very engaging. It is interactive also. There's a class chat, so you can ask me questions in the class also.